I had a leadership camp that I wanted to go to my sophomore year of high school. And it was like $1,000. I didn't have $1,000. My parents weren't going to pay for it. I was like, all right, here's my plan. I had a plan. So I was like, Mom, I need $200. And I went to Sam's Club and I bought $200 worth of bulk candy, like bulk candy bars and Sprees and Kit Kats and all that stuff, beef jerky, all that. And then I'd take it to school and I'd sell it and I'd go make $100 and I have $300. And I was like, hey, I still need your $200. So I went back, $300 worth of stuff, went back, $500, gave my $200 back, went back, $300, went back and sold $500. And I built $1,000 doing that.
Kill Complacency, a podcast that inspires growth and intentionality and helps you overcome your greatest obstacles.
So today I'm talking to my buddy, Matt Bean. I actually met Matt at a Limitless conference 3 years ago, I think, right?
Yes, sir.
It was in Phoenix, and we had lunch together and met each other and started following along, watch each other grow. He was a bookkeeper at the time. He sold his business, and now he is basically helping more people move to the country, buy land, by buying big, large parcels of land and subdividing them up, making it easy for people to own real estate and control that part of their life. So Matt, could you kind of tell us your story, your backstory, how you got into land? I think when I met you in 22, we were just starting that. At least I felt like it. I mean, you were dabbling.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So I don't know, from an early age, is probably reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad feels like a classic for every single real estate investor. I read that very young. I think I was in my early teens. And I remember sending out mailers my junior year of high school. I sent out mailers. I did so many. And I was like working so hard. I got 10 mailers out. I went out in front of all 10 houses. I took a picture, went to Staples, had the photos printed on the outside of the envelopes at Staples, spent a ton of money, like $15. And I was like, where do I get $15? And I got one back. I got one of my mailers back. Somebody actually responded and I was stoked. And I opened it up and it was my letter ripped up into pieces with a sticky note that says F you. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not cut out for this.
You were trying to buy their house.
Yeah, I was just making offers. I heard about this thing wholesaling and it seemed easy and you could do it at any age and you didn't need any money. And it was not easy and I didn't get any deals and I spent $15 and probably 2 hours of my time working so hard.
Yeah.
But no, I actually went into welding straight out of high school. I'll give you a quick backstory. Got into welding very young. Spent probably about 2 years in the industry, 2-3 years. And I was just looking around. We were working on power plants and my dream was to be like a welding inspector, working on all these power plants and, running a company. And I'm looking around at these guys and they're all 40 years old, 20 years older than I am. And they can barely get up. They're smoking cigarettes. They don't see their family for 9 months out of the year. And I was like, this is not the life I want to build in 20 years. I don't want to wake up one day at 40 years old and have not seen my kids in 9 months or my wife in 9 months. Like that sounds horrible. So I started doing started working night shifts so I could listen to audiobooks and podcasts and, kind of learn what I needed to learn, where to go, what to do, how do I make the shift. Ended up getting my mortgage license, real estate mortgage license. And one thing I would do is I hired a videographer to go with me to open houses. So that way we can make a free video for your open house. You can use it in your marketing. It was awesome. And about 6 months after I did this one video, this guy called me and he was like, hey, I'm partnering with a pretty big name on social media at the time to do some wholesaling and real estate investing. It was like, I'd like for you to join our team. I was like, absolutely. That call was on Thursday and I started Monday. I dropped everything and just went after it. Within a year, I was doing acquisition and disposition management. Left, started flipping houses, flipped about 10 houses my first year. And there's a whole story about that. And I realized I really enjoyed real estate, but I really did not like single family residential primary houses. I didn't see myself building a real estate rental portfolio. I really didn't enjoy flipping houses. And so I read 2 books on land. And I started with small parcels. I started with $250, $300, $500, $1,000, $1,200, whatever. And at the time I was like, I've got $30,000. I'm going to try to go do 10 deals with my 30 grand and see if this works. Worst case scenario, I lose it and I learn something. Best case scenario, I make some money and I keep going. And it worked. I mean,
you were in Arizona, right? At this time?
Yes, sir. Yep. In Arizona. So, I was buying lots for $250, selling them for $3 grand. And I was like, dude, I'm like 10Xing my money. Now, with those small deals, title fees and different stuff kind of eat up your money, your cash, but I was doing it and it was working. And so I started growing, and then I did a subdivide, a spot for 70,000, sold it for 150,000. I was like, well, that was pretty freaking cool. And then I started marketing, and I, just started growing and growing and growing. But at the time I was doing too many things because I was also project managing house flips. I had a e-bike store where we rented e-bikes and electric longboards and one wheels in downtown Tempe in Arizona. And I had my bookkeeping business, and I'm doing land deals. And so I went to a conference, and the only thing I took from the conference that just smacked me in the face or ran me over like a train was pick one thing and get really good at it. So I shut it all down besides the bookkeeping business. And that's kind of about the time, probably 6 months after that's about when we met. And we were only doing, I was wrapping up a couple land deals, but we went all in on the bookkeeping business, grew that 3X in that 1 year. And then we decided to sell it, got back into land deals. And now we do deals like this right above my head, where we buy 50 to 100 acres. We'll subdivide it out and give people a canvas for their American dream.
That's so cool. Over the years, I have been coached by countless mentors, and now I want to offer that to you as well. How? By Marty Hofmann's Life Coaching. This will be a 6-week program in which I will guarantee you will develop a more growth mindset. We will set goals and learn about the importance of the processes and habits behind those goals. I will also help you see your story differently as things happening for you, not to you. We will also be discussing your future self and give you clarity on who that is and what it looks like. For more information, please follow the link below or hop on martyhoffman.com and follow the coaching link. So you've been at it. How old are you, Matt?
I'm 29. I'll be 30 this year. 30.
That's crazy. You've done so much. And you said you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad when you were 15, 14?
Yeah, probably 13, 14. Yeah.
Do you feel like you were always an entrepreneur?
Oh man, yeah. I actually, when people ask me about this, is entrepreneurship made or is it within you? And I think there's an argument for both sides. But I think you're just either born an entrepreneur or you work 40 years and you build the network and the resources to become a business owner. I don't know. I mean, I had a leadership camp that I wanted to go to my sophomore year of high school. And it was like $1,000. I didn't have $1,000. My parents weren't going to pay for it. And so what I did is I was like, all right, here's my plan. I had a plan. So I was like, Mom, I need $200. And I went to Sam's Club and I bought $200 worth of bulk candy bars and Sprees and Kit Kats and all that stuff, beef jerky, all that. And then I'd take it to school and I'd sell it and I'd go make $100 and I have $300. And I was like, hey, I still need your $200. So I went back, $300 worth of stuff, went back, $500, gave my $200 back, went back $300, went back and sold $500. And I built $1,000.
Wow.
Doing that. And, I think I've always been pretty savvy with it, and it was just born in me. Like other kids weren't doing that. I don't know that. And the tricky thing about this, and the reason why I have this argument of, you're kind of born an entrepreneur or you are an entrepreneur, because I think there's skill set, right? You can have the skill of starting and creating businesses, or the skill of leadership, or the skill of sales, or there are tactical skills that you can develop to become better. But that innate hunger to always be on the leading edge, and there's not much safety. I think you're just born with that risk tolerance, or at a very young age, you're just in an environment where you have to just be on the leading edge of making things better. I don't know that you can put somebody through a course to give them more risk tolerance, or like be a visionary, or like do stuff like that.
Don't you think though, like risk, I feel like risk is something that we learn or you can get more used to, right? So I do think you can become more risk adverse with doing scarier things. For instance, it used to scare me to death to make a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no joke. My wife, when we got married, laughed at me because I was going to order pizza and I had to write out the conversation.
That's awesome.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah. You had to
But
write your
now,
sales script.
yeah, I would write out pepperoni, large, whatever, because it scared me.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Yeah,
I do agree, like some people, and I've always been entrepreneur. Like
mm-hmm.
I've had 2 W-2 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And each time I always had that leadership to push myself up.
Yep.
To bring other people around me. So
yeah, that's awesome. So there's a couple people that teach this, but there are 3 types of people. You have your artist, which is what most people are. Most people are artists. And an artist is somebody that does the technical work, right? An artist is easily identified because they're the person that when something's going wrong, they just jump in, they get their hands dirty, they're the one that just fixes it. And what most people do is they get good at being an artist and they see the money of being a business owner. So they say, oh, I'm going to leave whatever I'm doing and I'm going to go start my business. The construction worker starts a construction business. The bookkeeper starts a bookkeeping business.
The whole E-Myth.
Right? Yeah, exactly. It's the whole E-Myth thing. Mm-hmm. And so those artists become entrepreneurs, and they're called entrepreneurs, but they're really shitty business owners is what they are.
DIY owners.
Right? And so you've got the artist, you've got the manager leader that just, if there's a problem, it's, hey, they tell somebody, hey, this problem needs fixed, right? They're more of a delegator. Mm-hmm. The entrepreneur says, hey, there's a hole here that needs fixed, which is, hey, there's a gap in the market. Hey, there's a pain in whatever industry, or, like sunscreen. Like at some point, somebody's like, oh, I don't want to rub mud on myself. Let me have something that's a little bit sexier than rubbing mud on my body so I don't have, So the entrepreneur is a person that identifies those problems in the marketplace and does something about it.
Yeah, that's good. I haven't heard it described quite like that. So I've heard of it as Mr. Steady. He's your engineer. Mr. Command Man. He's the manager. And Mr. Visionary, who's always seeing ideas.
Yeah.
And trying to act on them. So talk to me about, you're all about this land, making it simple. You and I talked before the show about some data you're looking at now. Can anybody do what you're doing, Matt? Or is this only something that Matt Beans can do?
You're asking me this at a very interesting time in my life, because the simple answer is anybody could do it and nobody else could do it is my simple answer, right? Could anybody pull data, run marketing, build a team, learn how to do plat maps, and it's all tactical skills? Yes, 100%. Could I teach somebody how to do everything that I do? Yes. Is somebody willing to make the life sacrifices that they want? Is somebody willing to make the $200,000 bets? Is somebody willing to go raise, $1.5 million in 12 months and they've never raised money before? Is somebody willing to hire people on their team when they don't know how they're ready to cover payroll, but they're hoping this deal closes? Yeah. Is somebody willing to sacrifice, hey, we're going to eat freaking $20 worth of food a day and not go out and not hang out with friends and not travel and move across the country to be in a market where we can do what we want to do? I don't know.
Well, I know the answer. Most people are not willing to do that.
And I would say most people shouldn't do it. I can throw out numbers and people are like, oh, there's so much money, so much capital, so many projects. This is awesome. But the thing is I'm obsessed with it, right? Mm-hmm. There's I love what Alex Harmoji says. He says the guy that loves walking is going to walk further than the guy that has the goal to walk 100 miles.
Mm.
And I'm not focused when I think about my business, when I think about my life, when I think about, my relationship. It's not that there's a goal. Like, there are milestones, there are moments in which things change, right?
Sure.
When you're single, you have single problems, then you get in a relationship, then you have relationship problems, then you get engaged, and you have engagement problems, right? There are milestones. And there are certainly milestones in the business, but at the end of the day, I'm focused on the day to day.
Mm-hmm.
What do I need to do? What does this team member need to do? What does that team member need to do? And what are the quality metrics in order for them to do it? Not good, not great, but exceptional, so that we have the best. We don't have the biggest, but the best and most exceptional, quickest team that we can have
Mm-hmm.
to do what we need to do. And that's all I focus on.
That's good. So, but you're all about, I mean, your cause is empowering people to be able to buy land, right? And empowering
I'll read you. Let me pull this up so I read it to you word for word. But I have a mission and a vision for Terraluma Land. So we obviously have our mission, but the vision is to be the #1 homestead land developer in the United States, to empower families to own land, raise animals, and live their American dream. We stand for decentralizing the food system, connecting people with nature, and healing the earth through regenerative practices. Together, we inspire self-sufficiency, strengthen communities, and create a future rooted in harmony with the land.
That's cool. If you want to wear a billboard of a message of kill complacency or live intentionally, then check out my merch store. It's www.mindsetshop.com. Mindset is with an X, so it's MINDXET shop, SHOP.com. Mindsetshop.com. A lot has changed for you in 3 years. Where do you project yourself 3 years from now, Matt?
3 years from now, doing what I'm doing, but more of it.
I mean, yeah, let me rewind. When I met you, did you perceive you'd be where you are today?
I couldn't have dreamed that I would be where I'm at today.
Because you were doing bookkeeping.
Oh, yeah, I thought we were going to have an accounting firm. I thought we were going to have 20, 30, 40 employees. We were going to be doing, having booths at conferences and, have financial products that we help people with their bookkeeping. And yeah, I didn't know that I had no idea we would move to Tennessee. I had no idea we were going to raise 240 chickens our second year of living here. I had no idea we were going to be doing, 50 to 100 acre acquisitions and subdividing it and, raising $1 million or $2 million. Like, I had no idea we were going to do any of this.
That's so cool. So what is the thing that helped you lean into that? What motivated you along the way?
What motivated me along the way? That's a good question. So I spent 4 months in Mexico. We went to a conference, and this is another thing that, like, definitely a luxury that somehow I had or created or whatever it is. I was, given to me. I don't know how it happened, but we sold everything. We had 2 backpacks and 2 suitcases. We went to Mexico for 4 months. And the great thing about being in another country and one spot for an extended amount of time is we could build a routine in an area where we couldn't really talk to people because we don't know the language. I probably overused the term "como se dice," so I could learn how to say stuff like how do you say whatever. And I got bored, which I think is incredibly important, because when I got bored, I started looking at how do I want to create my life. In 20 years, how do I not wake up with regret, but how do I wake up and how do I be 45 years old? How do I be 60 years old and just be so excited and so grateful and have a today worth living, right? And I started looking at problems in the world, like that was kind of around the election time. That's when stuff about all the food was coming out, like the factory farming and people working remotely, and That's when Instagram started kind of in the middle or in the beginning of Instagram being like homesteading and,
Mm-hmm.
remote work and traveling and content creation. And I was like, you know what? All of these problems, right? We don't like the government. We don't like the shit that people put in our food. We're not reliable. Like the supply chain's not super reliable.
Sure.
And there's a lot of people in a lot of different forums and things that I was interested in that were like, oh, I want this. I want 2 acres. I want 5 acres. I want to have some cows. I want to have some pigs, whatever. And then I started looking, I'm a real estate guy. So I started looking at that for us. And I was like, this is hard to find,
Mm.
right? If I want to paint a picture, I need a canvas. If somebody wants a homestead, they need land to do it on. And there's a lot of land out there that's worth, it's 50 to 100 acres, 200 acres, 500 acres. But your family of 5 with 2 dogs, people are working, they can't afford 50 acres. They can afford 5 though. And so if I can be the guy to come in and buy 50 acres, split it up, give somebody a 7-acre lot, give somebody a 5-acre lot, a 10-acre lot, a 15-acre lot that's affordable, I can do that.
Yeah.
So I did.
That's cool. I liked what you said there, Matt, about being bored, because I think that's the other thing that keeps us almost, I'm going to use the word, almost drugged as W-2 earners. And maybe I shouldn't say W-2. Maybe I should just say drugged, pursuing the American dream of busyness.
Yeah.
But we need that boredom, right? We need that silence. And I think it's really hard right now with the phone, right? Because it's habit in our head. If I got 2 free seconds, I grab my phone and I scroll on whatever. Could be a Strava app. Like I'm into running now, so I'll go to Strava. I'll go to Zillow, right?
Yep.
Or Facebook. I mean, it can be anything. So I think there's a lot of value in what you said, just in getting away out of your normal and having that opportunity to be bored. Like we need that.
I'm going to give you one quick tool. This is totally a product plug. It's not my product. I just love it. Whatever. So it's this little thing right here. And what I'm holding up, I don't know if this is audio only, but it's just a little square thing that hooks onto your keychain. And it has some technology in it, I guess. I don't really know. But basically what I can do, it's called Unpluck, UNPLUQ. And on my phone, there's an app. And this app, I can set schedules and apps to block. And the only way for me to unlock my phone to get access to those apps is I have to tap that thing to the back of my phone. So now I can protect my small moments, right? The 5 minutes before jumping on this podcast, I could have easily grabbed my phone and scrolled on Instagram for 3 minutes and then jumped on here and been ready to go. But it's blocked. I could easily, while I'm going to the bathroom, pull up a little game or Instagram or my emails or whatever, but they're blocked. And so protecting, I think right now more than ever, like we don't have a scarcity problem in the world. We don't have a lack of information. We don't have a lack of food. We don't have a lack of anything in today's world. And I think it's our number one priority to cut as much as we can, cut the information out, cut the bad food out, cut the time wasters out, cut the toxic people out, cut the things that drain our energy, cut the bad habits, just cut. And you're going to be bored, right? If you cut drinking and you cut going out and wasting money at restaurants that you don't even like, spending time with people you don't really enjoy, wasting your time looking at your screen, scrolling on stupid shit. Like, you're like, what do I do with all this time? Like, now you have an abundance of time.
Yeah.
Now, and when you get those moments of boredom, you let your mind wander and you start to say, yeah, what don't I like? What do I like about going out and having dinner with friends? Well, I like to socialize. I like to be around people. Well, what is it about these people that I don't particularly like?
Sure.
Well, they complain about people and they talk about this and they talk about what they're going to buy. Well, I want to be around people that are running their businesses. I want to be around business problems. I want to be around people that are growing and have intention and giving back and tithing and fitness. And so now I can go find or create those groups. But without boredom, I I don't have the space to think about that without boredom.
That's so good. We are really kind of anti-devices in our home, and it's messy. Like my youngest is 8. We got an 8, 11, 14-year-old. And you know what they're into right now is, well, this morning when I left, my youngest was grinding up cardboard because he's going to make paper. And they're into knives, and they're grinding knives, old pieces of metal, and making knives and throwing them at this dartboard. And when we, they go to garage sales and buy old candles, and they melt these candles down and they remake them. It is so messy, but it's messy because we don't have a TV and we don't give them devices. And these boys who are boys want to be, instead of being bored, they're doing something with their time, but
they want to create, they want to be hunters. They want to,
and they're making paper. Like, who wants to make paper? But they want to make paper, So I absolutely agree. Like, we need, and that's part of this whole podcast. Like, let's kill complacency. Let's be intentional with what we do have, and we do have time, and it's limited. I just wanted to thank you guys for listening to the end. In closing, I just wanted to add that if this message resonates with you, if it aligns with your values, and something in it today triggered something, then you can also look me up on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. We are really trying to help people live more intentional lives, to kill the complacency with which they have subscribed to. I know there's many ways in which I get sucked in all the time. So if this is beneficial, follow me there.